it on the level. Keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the...
What's going on, Nasteey Nation? It's Nasteey, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over the patch 10.3 notes, doing a little bit of a rundown. So before we even get into that, let me just go ahead and break down my thoughts on what I'm hoping to see or expecting to see in this patch. Main thing is probably jungle changes. Even though I don't main jungle, I think we can all agree that jungle is a little weak right now. So probably seeing some experience changes there. I think engage supports are ridiculous right now. So stuff like Nautilus, stuff like Leona. Kali is also really strong right now, and I already heard a rumor that she's getting nerfed in this patch. So expecting to see that as well. I'd also like to see some changes for the dragons, because I feel like this season, in comparison to last season, the actual dragon the actual dragons that pop up, it doesn't really matter which one it is. You want it no matter what, because every single dragon soul is good. So instead of it being more thoughtful of, okay, this is a fire dragon or infernal dragon, let's prioritize this, or this is a cloud dragon, let's not prioritize this as much as it was last season, it seems kind of brainless and you kind of just run towards dragons. That's like kind of a personal opinion, though. I'm not actually expecting to see that, but it would be really nice. So let's go ahead and get started. These patch notes are very big. Looking at all the bug fixes. Oh, that's another thing. The game has been so buggy lately. The game itself and the client. I know a lot of people have been complaining about, but most recently a big bug that's been seen in the game is people's rune pages will actually just get completely changed, and it'll be set to a default rune page, every single person in the game. So that is a huge bug that actually changes games so much. So hopefully they fix client bugs, they fix bugs like that as well. Taking a look at Prestige Edition Sena, cool, whatever. Looking at the Kali work, I'm assuming this means changes, nerfs, something like that. Look at what they did, oh, whatever. Look at the buffs to jungle, perfect. And maybe even most importantly, we got some amazing updates, blah, blah, blah. Oh, to most beloved champions. Okay, so maybe some big changes here. This is a little graphic. We'll go past that because we want to read what actually happened here. So Kali, no shocker here. Pretty much a permaban champion, in my opinion. I always ban this champion. Looks like it's going to be costing more energy on Q. Let's see, decaying movement speed. No problem here. This doesn't seem like it's going to be too much overall. I like the dash distance going down a little bit. I like this costing more energy. Overall, though, I think Akali is really strong right now, so this doesn't seem to be too much. So you have a little rundown right here. Q cost increased, W movement speed increased, and now decays are now targets champions in that direction. Okay, that's actually a big one right there. Overall, though, this doesn't seem like it's going to be too much. It's definitely a step in the right direction, though, because this champion's just brainless and OP. Okay, moving on. Belios. This champion, I wouldn't say he's pick or ban, but he's very popular ever since release. Seeing a lot of play in competitive play, also seeing a lot of play in solo queue. My personal opinion on this champion right now is that he's really confusing, and I don't actually know what he does. All I know is everything that he seems to do does a lot of damage, and he seems pretty strong. So this does seem like it is a nerf. I don't know how much it's going to hurt. Looks like his Q, I don't even know what his Q did in the first place, but it's getting a small nerf. So that's a good step in the right direction again. Azir is a champion I would expect to see buffed. Let's see what the changes are here. Base mana increased, R number of soldiers increased. Okay, that's not going to do all too much. Like I said, Azir is a champion I would expect to get buffed, but overall, I don't think he needs to be too overtuned. This is a champion that when he's too strong, he just kind of takes over games, and you don't ever want to see that. I think Azir is the type of champion that has a very high skill cap, and for that reason, I don't think he should ever be too strong, because a player who is really good at Azir will make the champion strong. Professional players, the competitive scene, they will make Azir strong, even when he only has like a 48% or 49% win rate in solo queue. So this isn't a champion I want to see overtuned too much. I think this is a step in the right direction. Not too worried about this. This should be fine. Corki, what are my thoughts on Corki right now? He is either really OP at times, or he's not in the meta at all. Right now, I would say he's probably in a stage where he's not in the meta at all. So I would expect to see a buff here. Let's see, W damage per second ratio increased. Now slows, okay, very small buff to W, his special delivery. this is going to be a game changer every once in a blue moon, because that doesn't happen all too often with the special delivery. So not expecting this to be too big of a change. I like the fact that what I've seen so far, at least so far in these patch notes, is every change that they've made hasn't been too drastic. It's been small changes here and there. That's a problem that I think Riot has had in the past, is every time they make these buffs or these nerfs and changes, they try to do way too much. And that's how you get things to be, you know, in the gutter or way overtuned and way too strong. And like I said, champions like Azir, champions like Corki, when they're overtuned, they're horrible to play against. You never want to play against these champions. They're no fun to play, especially in competitive scene. These champions can just like take over the competitive scene. So small changes like this, little buffs for champions who, you know, might need a little bit of love. That's fine. Diana's another champion that I feel like is really strong right now. So I would expect to see some nerfs right here. Base mana decrease, W damage per orb decrease. Personally, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've never really 100% understood her W and how it works. Her W, which one is that? Actually, I don't even know. I think that might be her shield thing. I could be wrong there. I like the fact that she's getting less damage. I don't even know what this ability does, but the fact that she's doing less damage, I'll take that. Base mana decreased, I like that as well. She should have to be punished when she is constantly going for these engages. Diana seems to me like a champion who, right now, or at least before this patch, was kind of just engaging, going for these all-ins, these assassinations whenever she wanted. So some lower mana, she has to be a little bit more picky of when she decides to pull the trigger. So I like that as well. Echo is a monster right now. Specifically Echo in the jungle, but he's also getting played in the mid lane. I believe I saw Dignitas pull it off in the mid lane. Froggen played it this past week in LCS. So Echo, overall a problem. Let's see what they did here. Passive monster stack damage decreased. So this looks like it's going to be targeted towards Echo in the jungle, which I like because I feel like that's where he's seen most of his action lately. So it looks like it's just going to be a little bit of a damage decrease, and specifically against monsters. So actually 50% down from 200 to 150, that is going to do quite a bit. So actually I did see a tweet on this, I believe. I don't remember who, but there was a professional player that kind of talked about this a little bit, and the way that he put it is that this is going to affect early game jungle clear from Echo, but once you get Luden's Echo, the jungle item, excuse me, this won't be as noticeable. So looks like this will be targeted towards jungle Echo and it's early game clear. I like that. Ezreal. Ezreal, I don't really have an opinion on Ezreal right now. I don't know. I wouldn't say he's too strong or too weak, so let's see what they decide to do with him. Base mana growth and attack speed growth increase. So this is a buff. Okay. I don't think it was necessary at all. Ezreal is the same thing with Corki and Azir up here. He's a champion that just dominates competitive play. He's also, you know, to kind of compare to the example I gave with Azir, he's a champion that has a very high skill cap. So I think that this champion should never really be above a 50% win rate. I think that he should be overall a 48-49% win rate, and then a really good player can win the majority of their games and go above and beyond and win more than 50%. So I don't think this champion needs a buff right now, but doesn't seem to be too much. We'll see. Hopefully his win rate doesn't jump too much. I'd be a little upset if this jumps even 1% or more. Hopefully not too much. Gallio. I don't think Gallio has been too much of an issue lately. There was a time period where AP Gallio mid was a problem. There was a time period where Gallio support was a problem. But I don't think I've seen a whole lot of Gallio lately, so I would assume a buff. Let's see what they did here though. Q tornado duration and damage ticks increased. Tornado duration from 1.5 to 2 seconds. Takes from 3 to 4. Okay, that doesn't seem like it's going to be too much. Again, going back to that point where I just think that them doing little changes is beneficial here. So Gallio, not the most fun champion to play as or play against. So you know, the fact that he wasn't in the meta, I kind of enjoyed. But this doesn't seem like it's going to do all too much. He'll jump up a little bit in the win rate column, not a ton. All right, Leona. So as a support main, you typically think that I would hate to see a support champion get nerfed, especially a support champion that is in my champion pool. But Leona is just obnoxious. She's not all that fun to play, personally, I would say. And she's really not fun to play against just because of her ability to perma CC people, lock them down, and when you get locked down by Leona, you die before you can ever move, flash, do anything, right? And this kind of goes hand in hand with what I was expecting to see. Like I mentioned at the very start of this video, engage supports are a problem. I'd be surprised if Leona is the only one targeted in this patch. But let's see what they did here. W and E damage decreased. Really? This is what they decided to do. Okay. So essentially what they're saying here is that Leona, the problem with Leona is the fact that she can do too much damage to the people that she is attacking. And I think to a certain extent, yes, that is true. I have seen clips of Leona's 1v1ing carries very early on in the game. That is an issue. But the main issue right now with Leona is not her damage. So this is going to make it so that she is a little bit more limited as to the fights that she can take. And she won't be able to apply as much damage when she's going for these trades in the early game. So she might not be able to result in as many kills as she'd like. But overall, that's not the problem with Leona. I think this will hurt her a little bit, but it's not addressing the main problem. The main problem with Leona is that she can literally perma CC you. She has her Q, her E, and her R. Those are 3 abilities with CC. And that's just a very loaded kit. So Leona should still continue to be meta after this. I don't think this is going to hurt her too much. Even the damage here, if you're looking, it's not that much. At max level, you're losing 20 damage off the W, but your W isn't even... You don't max W for the damage anyways. You max W for the defensive stats that it gives you. Your E, at max rank, you're losing 10 damage. Actually, come to think of it, this nerf is not going to do anything to Leona. So continue, or expect to see Leona a lot in this patch as well. Misfortune, one of the stronger ADCs, I would say. I think that Misfortune, Aphelios, and Sena have probably been the top 3 ADCs recently, so I'm expecting to see nerfs here. Base attack speed growth decreased. I suppose that works. When I think of the problem with Misfortune, it's her Q damage and her R damage. That's what I think. Her base numbers, her base damage from her Q and her R are pretty insane. At the same time, though, I can understand why they're not targeting that, because like I said, when you think of Misfortune, that's what you think of, and maybe that's what they want Misfortune to be. They want Misfortune to be this annoying champion who, if you don't position correctly, if you're standing behind minions, she can hit you with the Q, and if you guys bunch up, then she'll be able to hit you with her R. So I guess I understand why they're not focusing on that, and maybe the same could be said about Leona. Maybe their idea of Leona is this champion that can perma CC you, and that's not something they want to change. So they are targeting these champions in one way or another, even though it may not be the way that you would think they should target them. So this is just going to be basic attack speed going down. It'll affect her a little bit, but the damage from Q, damage from R, that's still going to be there. Rumble isn't a champion that you see too much in solo queue, but he's been very strong in competitive lately, so if anything, I would expect to see a nerf here, except I wouldn't, or I don't care too much if they change him at all. Base stats rounded. What does that mean? W bonus movement speed and shield decrease. So overall, okay, so they're just rounding these stats to be a little bit more normal and less weird. And then W is getting a little bit of a nerf, but this is kind of hurting his utility, his shield and his movement speed. Again, when you think of Rumble, you don't think of his shield and his movement speed that he gets from his W. You think of his Flame Spitter and his ulti just kind of tearing teams apart. So this is another weird change to me. That's what I'm seeing a lot of so far in this patch. A small change, a weird change, not really targeting the main issues here. This will affect him a little bit, but you guys probably don't see a whole lot of Rumble in solo queue anyways, so this change probably doesn't affect you at all. Sejuani, another one of those champions that's not a lot of fun when she's meta, so hopefully she doesn't get buffed, but considering she hasn't been in the meta for a while, I'm expecting to see a buff here. Now has bonus attack speed at level 1. Seems, yeah, it's going to be an overall buff here. A little bit of a change to the passive. Some base stats going up. Attack speed's going to help her clear easier. That makes sense. Sena. So Sena is a champion who was really, really strong as a support when she came out, and now she's really, really strong as an ADC, which kind of sucks. I know that their goal with Sena was to make it so that she's viable as both an ADC and a support. Personally, I really like the thought that could have happened, but the way that it panned out, I don't think it'll ever happen successfully. So I see from now on, depending on buffs and nerfs, she'll either be one or the other. I don't see her being viable as both at any point in time. Right now, she's an ADC, a really strong ADC, so this should be targeted towards making her weaker as an ADC. Overall, let's see what they're doing here. A hit to the passive, which is a huge problem, actually. Late game Sena is really, really difficult to deal with, especially with that additional range, rather. And then the E. Okay, so this is going to be a couple changes. I think the passive is actually a big hit. I'm not sure how much this will affect her win rate. I'm a little sad to see that this is the direction that they're taking. What I would like to see them do is maybe drop off some of the damage, add some more healing. That way she's a little bit more rounded out and potentially could work as both. But this works. This is just going to overall kind of take her out of the support meta even more and hit her a little bit in the ADC role. Set has been pretty popular since his release. I see him in a lot of my games. Not necessarily picker ban, but very often seen. And I think he'll see a nerf here. Usually when a champion is first released into the game, they have a really low win rate because people are struggling while playing that champion because they're trying to learn a lot. Set, although on the other hand, when Set was released, he had a high win rate immediately, which means that either he wasn't that difficult to play and people just got a hang of him really easy, or he was overtuned. I'm gonna assume that he's overtuned. So these should be some nerfs. Health regen going down. The W, which is probably his strongest ability, getting hit here. So overall, this is a good nerf here. This is what I like to see them doing, targeting the main issue here. Good for them. Sona is a champion that you don't see a whole lot. She's either meta or she's not meta. Right now, she's not meta. E, movement speed decrease. Wait, so they actually nerfed her. This is actually not something I was expecting. I don't think Sona is too good right now. This is a bit interesting, and they're actually targeting her E more than anything. Personally, I didn't think Sona was in the meta. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe other people have a different opinion. But I don't think Sona was all that great, even before this patch. And the things that make her good is actually her damage. So if they were to nerf her, I feel like her damage should be the focus here. This is just a really, really strange tweak to me. Yuumi. Yuumi is a champion that is kind of weird because she's one of those champions that is really, really good in competitive play. So if they make her decent in solo queue, she's too big of a problem in competitive play. So I think they are trying to be a little safe with Yuumi, not trying to overtune her too much, because then she just takes over the competitive play. Let's see. Q, empowered damage decreased. W no longer goes on cooldown from silences. E, base heal decreased, but ratio increased. This seems to me not like a buff or a nerf, but kind of just like rearranging her stats. And I think that is the right approach, because like I was saying, the way that her kit is and the way she has been is she's too good in competitive play. So they have to try to change some things. So it looks like, you know, a little bit of a tweak to the W, changing up her E a little bit, taking some damage off the Q, and the Q was a big problem in competitive play because they were building full AP Yuumi. So yeah, I like this. I don't know if it'll work out or not, but this seems like they're changing Yuumi all around, trying to just shuffle things around and see if they can get the right combination to make her viable in both competitive play and solo queue. So that's good. Jungle monsters. I'm assuming, just by scrolling through this really quick and just based off of what we all kind of expected to see this patch, jungle has been super weak for a while. It's been kind of nice for everybody who doesn't play jungle because it's so much easier to kill the jungler when they're 2 levels below you. But I think we could all agree that jungle is kind of it's been struggling a little bit lately. So seeing XP go up here is not going to be a huge shock. What are they doing though? I would assume that everything's going up. This is going up. This is going down. Okay, actually, this is not as straightforward as you would think. Kind of similar to Yuumi, where they don't want to just straight up make something stronger, so they're rearranging things. Same thing with the jungle. They want to make it stronger, but they're not just increasing everything. You are seeing some things like here, where large Krug base gold going down. You're seeing stuff like this, first large monster bonus, experience that's going down. So they're shuffling things around, and I like that, because I don't want to see jungle get super, super strong again. Some jungle mains may be a little upset seeing this though, because they were hoping for an even bigger buff. Down here, I don't think I'm going to spend too much time on this. This is just going to be like little updates, making things look different. ARAM, I'm not going to go over that. bug fixes. This is way too much to read. Let's just all cross our fingers and pray that somewhere in here they are changing the way that the client works. Got some skins coming up. True Damage Sena, awesome. Heartseeker Jinx, Heartseeker Yuumi, fantastic. Why not? A couple chromas, and perfect. That actually wraps everything up. So I hope you guys did go on to enjoy this video. Hope you guys were able to find it helpful. Again, if you guys did, then feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. It really helps a lot with growing my channel and the algorithm and all that good stuff. I hope you guys, enjoyed it. Best of luck in your games in patch 10.3. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end of this video, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.